become the world's greatest radio.
We give you a reason to stay.
Radio, the way it should be heard.
You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of talktainmentradio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
This is the voice of deliverance. 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 Behold the power, the power, the power. Heard exclusively on talktainmentradio.com. Radio, the way it should be heard. I'm Dr. K. Robinson. Hi, yes, this is talktainmentradio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio. You're in touch with the voice of deliverance. I'm Dr. K. Robinson, and this is radio, the way it should be heard. We've got a guest. Her name is Joan Robinson. We got the Robinson girls in the house today, and she's got a long history of experience in the system and everything that you can imagine concerning children. She's a beautiful lady, and I just had to share this woman with you. Yes, we're talking about raising children today. Somebody needs to talk about it. And before we do, to watch the live broadcast of the Voice of Deliverance show, you go to YouTube and type in the word Talktainment, then hit the space bar and type in the word radio. Scroll down to the Talktainment 2 live on YouTube, and you can also hear us live at talktainmentradio.com. Please let us like us. Please like us and subscribe and hear us live at talktainmentradio.com. Now I introduce to you Mrs. Joan Robinson. How you doing, Joan?
I'm doing great. Just great. How are you, Kay?
Girl, I'm hanging. We hanging today. She just got off from work. I just got out of it. We don't tell what I got of, but I got out of it, and I'm here on time. I'm just so blessed to be in your presence. We want you to call us, if you will, 1-877-932-9766. Get in on the conversation. This concerns you. Somebody raised you or didn't. Whatever, it had a powerful effect or it didn't. We want to talk about everything that concerning children today. And I'm going to introduce Joan. I'm going to call her by her first name because I got to know her that well. But anyway, we're going to talk about her life. What was your educational background?
I was educated down in South Carolina up until I was 16 years old, and I ended up graduating from high school in Trenton, New Jersey, and I did my bachelor's I started out at Morgan State and graduated from Capital University and did graduate work at Boston University.
All right now. Well, what was life like growing up in rural South in the pre-civil rights day? What was it like?
Well, we couldn't do a lot of things. Like there was still the black-only washrooms, bathrooms, and water fountains, and the schools were all segregated. It was all we knew.
So you grew up in segregation?
Yes, I did.
Oh, how much did that make an effect on your mind and your heart, your attitude?
It made a dynamic effect upon my attitude as a person because all my teachers had so much faith in me. They told me that I could go on and be anything I wanted to. They had just started it, but I could carry it on. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic time of my life.
Well, I was going to ask you the difference in how we are raised in the North and how we're raised in the South and the difference in the schools. But you just told me one thing I didn't know, that children in the South were encouraged by their peers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our teachers had absolute faith in us that we would go on, and they kept teaching us. Now, you don't need this now, but whenever you go to integrated schools, you're going to have to know this. You're going to have to know this and beyond. So they kept encouraging us and teaching us and preparing us for the day of integration. They knew it was coming, even though not anyone was talking of it at that time.
So there are things that they know that are coming and they're preparing you for it.
Yes, and they did.
That's different than what we get up north.
Absolutely.
I was raised up north. I got nothing. No encouragement. No, not even from my family. They just said, let's survive. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we were doing. We were surviving. And I've learned I've got a strong survival effort. I want to ask you this question. You told me you were raised on a farm.
Yes, that's absolutely true. I was raised on a tobacco farm in South Carolina.
Tobacco?
Yes.
That's the only thing we learned is don't smoke. But in the meantime, you were telling me how you processed. What was your job? You had a job. How young were you?
I was 5 years old when I first started working in tobacco, and I got paid $1.50 because I worked a half a day, and it was fantastic. I just lived every week waiting for the day that I could work at the age of 5. Because I was with my cousins, and we didn't consider it work. It was a time for us to be together.
Be together. That's key, isn't it?
Yes.
Family working together.
Yes.
All right, you guys, put these keys down because they're important if you're raising children. What other crops were raised on your farm?
We raised everything but rice and wheat.
Okay.
Now, that my grandmother told me that they used to raise rice. Her father raised rice. My great-grandfather raised rice, but we didn't raise rice. We raised tomatoes, butter beans, okra, cabbage, corn.
Making me hungry.
Everything, almost everything we raised because we didn't have to buy anything but flour and rice. Those were the only two things we really had to buy.
So you had to raise your own, you did raise your own crops.
Yes, we did.
So there was not a lot of transportation to back and forth to the grocery, right?
No.
What did you buy at the grocery?
As I said, we would buy mostly rice and flour, and they usually bought it in large quantities so that we wouldn't have to go to the store that often. Our corn, we shelled the corn and we had it ground into grits and into meal. So we didn't even have to buy meal and corn and meal or grits because grits was eaten every morning for breakfast. Cornbread was made every day for dinner, but we didn't have to buy any meal.
You didn't have to buy anything.
Or
Isn't
grits.
that something? You know, I remember those days. Those were good old days. We had some of the best food.
Oh, yeah, the food was good.
And you didn't gain weight like you gain weight off of the food we eat now.
No, you don't. You didn't. And another thing, when I first moved to the north, I couldn't eat the food for a long time because it tastes so terrible to me.
I bet it did. It didn't have a taste. Listen, to watch the live broadcast of the Voice of Deliverance show, go to your YouTube and type in the word talktainment, then hit the space bar and type in the word radio. Scroll down to Talktainment 2 live on YouTube, and you can also hear us live at talktainmentradio.com. Please like us and subscribe because we want you to be involved in our conversation and want you to call 1-877-932-9766. And when we kind of slow down a little bit, we want you to call in and tell me whatever's on your mind or add to what or take away. It doesn't make a difference. We want you to be a part of this conversation. We understand that when we are raised and we are busy, we don't get in trouble, right?
That's absolutely true, Kay. We didn't have time to get in trouble because my grandmother didn't let us, we weren't allowed to sleep during the day, and during our waking hours, she found a job. If it was raining, we had to sit inside and make quilts. I said she invented the Levi quilts because we just made all our Levi pants. We cut them up. If they were too small or had holes in them, we cut around them and we made quilts out of them.
Really?
So, yeah, she kept us busy. She would not let us be idle one day. I wish I could just sleep. I would say, oh, I wish I could take a nap. But that was not heard of. You had to stay busy.
Well, parents that make you stay busy or always plan for you to have something to do, they are also developing a strong work ethic, right?
Yes, she certainly did. When I came to the city and started working, they came to me and said, you better quit working. You're working yourself out of a job. I said, working?
Yep.
This is not working.
And you know what? I had to learn to slow down because I was used to doing so much every day and working so fast to get to the next assignment that when I started working in the industry, I had to slow down because my job was done by noon.
Oh yes. That and I couldn't imagine why they was taking so long to do so little bit of amount of work.
They were,
and so it was amazing. It was just puzzling to me. But I'm telling you, you develop a very strong work ethic, and it was too because when I worked, I was working with my cousins, and I was always trying to outwork them, and they were always trying to outwork me. So we just learned to work at a very rapid pace, but it was in fun. It was not a difficult thing.
Right. Well, when you started working for the system, did you find that work hard, or was
No, it was easy. I couldn't imagine getting paid for it, but I was grateful. But it was so easy.
You work a lot less and make a whole lot more.
Yes.
You got to learn how to do the thing backward now.
Yes.
And when coming up as a child, you worked hard and maybe didn't learn anything, or you earn very little, and then when you grow up, you work slow and you gain a whole lot of money. I like that. I like that better. That's a good reward.
Yes, it was. I didn't have any competition, and that was for sure.
Well, I'm going to ask you now, and I'm going to basically give a statement that you are still working with children now. You just came from work to do the show, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That's wonderful. She's gone back. She's retired, but she's gone back to work. And she can teach children more now than she ever could. Am I right?
Absolutely.
What are you teaching them now?
I teach K through 12, but I basically teach them how to talk to people. And I teach them how to get things done because they want to kind of drag around and not do the work. And above all, I teach them to be respectful to people and follow directions because they do not want to do that.
Ah, boy, we need you. You're a jewel. Because we're not teaching our children to be obedient and to listen and do what they're told. And most of the time they don't. And then when they don't, we don't follow after them and make them do it. You can really get into child abuse trying to make a child nowadays do what they don't want to do. So I thank God for you. In the school system, they basically have a regiment that they have to follow anyway. They have to learn to be quiet, and they have to learn basically to take instruction. So you've got 50% of your help right there. But then to have a person to teach them what you know is important is priceless. I'm going to change the subject a little bit and say, when was the first time you heard of an African-American language in your community in the South?
Okay, the first time I ever heard of an African, period, just came out of Africa, speaking an African language, I was around 6 years old. And this African came in from Africa. He was a diplomat, and he came down. I'm from the Myrtle Beach area, and he came down to Myrtle Beach, and he wanted to live in the $1 Million Hotel. Well, no black person had ever lived in that hotel unless they sneaked and stayed all night and no one knew while they were cleaning up.
That's right.
So whenever his chauffeur carried him into Myrtle Beach and he said, I want to live in this hotel, they were so shocked they had to call President Dwight D. Eisenhower and find out if he could stay in that hotel. And the guy was just sweating, perspiring. He just didn't know what to do. But President Dwight D. Eisenhower said, he must live there. If he wants to stay there, that's where he will live. And I'm telling you, my grandmother fell on her knees and she said, thank you, Jesus. I never thought I would see the day when an African would come over here and be given respect. And that was the first time I ever heard of an African in our community or anywhere near us in my life. And that would be the last time for very until I left South Carolina.
All right. Well, you know, it is unbelievable where this country will host and embrace other people from foreign nations, and yet they have treated us as badly as they have. I want you to say right now that talktainmentradio.com is 24/7, no charge, worldwide broadcasting facility with hosts delivering on various topics such as news, lifestyle, sports, law, health, wellness, religion, politics. Here's several shows I would like to share with you. I want you to listen to. This is Libby Rand Thursday at 7 p.m. And New Money is Drew and Jane at 5 at 7. And then we have the Voice of Deliverance every Friday or every other Friday with Dr. K. Robinson, interviewing the world and all of our past experiences and letting people know that there is a voice in the atmosphere that is trying to reach you to tell you, go ahead, you can make it. It's going to be all right. We're just doing such new things here at talktainment.com, and we want you to be a part of it. We're going to be doing some things where we can see you after a while. It won't be long. They're moving right along, very progressive. And I'm excited about being a part of this great movement for us to reach the world, because it is a worldwide telecast. So I want to go on and ask another question of our beloved guest today. She's just filling us in so well and talking so directly. What effect did your grandparents have on you?
My grandparents had such a dynamic effect upon me, because my grandmother kept telling me I could be what I wanted to be, but I would have to fight for it and don't give up the fight.
Ooh.
And yeah, she said if anything is worth having, is worth fighting for.
That's true.
So my grandmother and my grandfather and everybody, my great-grandmother, they were just fantastic. And my great-grandmother, she had been a slave. She was 5 years old when slavery ended, and she worked endlessly hard in encouraging us that we could succeed. And we would succeed, but we had to fight and work very hard. And my grandmother also expounded upon the fact that drinking and smoking was things that we could not ever indulge in, because we had to be fighting to move ahead. And we couldn't waste our money and our time wasting it on drinking and smoking and sitting around relaxing. We could not do that.
You could not be idle. You could not sit down and just watch TV all day.
No. That I think if my grandmother was living, she wouldn't let us watch TV at all.
I know that's right.
Because she was really stern about that we had to be busy at all times.
Okay. Woo, boy, we have dropped a lot of things out of our children's lives, and I think we're paying for it, because our children really are not growing and advancing in understanding. No, maybe some of them are getting a good education, because now we want everybody to have a wonderful education. But in the meantime, it's also an education to know how to take care of yourself, how to feed yourself, how to keep yourself clean and presentable. And above all, learn how to talk to people. Some children can't even carry a conversation with you. I ask them, how you doing? Good. And that's it. That's about it. You're not going to get anything. Well, how you feeling today? Good. My grandchildren do that. Good. And yet, as far as relationships are concerned, we need them so badly. And when we don't get into that and learn, then we fail in our relationships and our boyfriend and girlfriend and our husband and wives. And then, of course, talking to our children. I begun in my mind to write a book about how we should talk to our babies, even in the womb. And after the babies come, have a conversation with them. And they will respond. Many of them can't talk, but they'll put on all kind of physical movements to try to talk or try to express themselves, because they're learning to respond to you talking to them. I'm so excited. I think I'm going to visit the school that you work in just to see you work. I'm going to be like a little fly on the wall, and I'm going to peep and watch you work with these children, because that's the most beautiful thing that I can ever see. An adult teaching a child how to grow, how to discipline themselves, how to be quiet, and when to talk and talk clearly. That is my daughter. She retired from law enforcement and went right into the school system. And they were so glad to have her, because she'd been in law enforcement. But in the meantime, she is teaching those children how to be children, and they're just loving it. She's loving it. So sometimes in our life, we don't really begin to fulfill destiny until we have fulfilled purpose. And you have worked in the military. Am I correct, Joan?
You're absolutely correct.
What did you do in the middle way back then? What did you do in the military?
I was a legal clerk. I worked in JAG.
All right.
The Judge Advocate General's office.
Oh, wow. That sounds like big money.
Well, in the military, you don't get paid according to what you do. You get paid according to your rank. So you could be in the general's office and still you're doing an important job, working with important people, but you get a certain rate of pay.
I see.
But it was a good experience.
I get ready to say you got a broad-based experience working with the military, working with men, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What did you learn about men? That's very important.
Oh, that's interesting.
Tell the truth now. Shame the devil.
The one thing I found out about men, working with men, I had to be extremely stern and let them know that I am here on my merits. I'm going to do my job. I'm capable of doing my job.
Okay.
And I had to establish that fact. And once I got it well established, I had no problem. But the other thing I found about men, that men are very much like women. They gossip as we do, but they try to hide it.
They really do.
Yeah, that was one of the most amazing things I found out, that they like to gossip.
Yeah.
I was so amazed about that.
Yeah.
So, but, they respect you if you are willing to hold your own. And I tried to establish that. And I'm still a woman, but I want to do my job the best I can, and as well as you do, your job. And that's right, and that's all I asked of them, and they were very respectful and respected my desire in terms of doing my job and wanting to do a good job.
I'm looking at something that I never thought would happen, and I was targeted in the entertainment world as a gospel singer. It was no different than singing blues and singing the gospel. If you're a female, you suffer the same thing. But I never thought that men would be brought out and exposed the way they are now for things that we had to swallow and to take and to suffer, because man always had priority and power over us. How much did you have that inflicted on you as a woman in the military?
Well, because of where I worked, I didn't see too much of that. Because I remember I worked in the law library, and there was a lady who was an attorney. I liked the law library very, very much, and I wanted to stay there forever because it gave me an opportunity to read all the law books, etc. But she came in, she said, no, I want Joan out of this library. I want her doing more. She's capable of doing more, and I want her to do more. So I always had somebody in my corner. She was an attorney, because, see, I work for attorneys.
Oh, okay.
And so she really talked up for me, and there was a lot of women there, although I liked where I was, but she felt I wasn't getting enough experience. So I ended up working in every department in JAG that was. They have every department, claims, where you do power of attorneys, and reception area, prosecuting attorney, defense attorney. I worked in almost every area that was there to work at.
That's so interesting. Now, to look at this lady, you would never be able to discern she's done all of this in a male society, because she has kept her femininity to the max, and you never would know that she had been around men who talk rather harsh and different things like that, because she maintained her femininity. And that was the first thing that I noticed. I was looking at a lady who knew how to discipline and control herself and present herself and even talk to the people over the air. We do straight talk on Sundays with Kahari. Y'all know him? Yeah, he's sitting over there. He's our engineer today. And he told me that I have to read this to you. To watch the live broadcast of the Voice of Deliverance show, go to your YouTube and type in the word, talktainment, then hit the space bar and type in the word radio. Scroll down to Talktainment 2 live on your YouTube, and you can also hear us live at talktainmentradio.com. Please like us and subscribe to us, and hear us live at talktainmentradio.com. I love it. I love it. I love reaching out. I love talking to people that I can't even see. And I know you love listening because radio is a great entertainment when you drive and when you ride, and even on your phone. You can set it on the dashboard in a little apparatus, and you can even kind of peep at it every now and then. Don't do too much of that, though, because you keep your eyes on the road. But on the break, we're going to say talktainmentradio.com. We go where you go. Check us out on 94.1. WGRN podcasts are available. Download talktainmentradio.com app to your cell or your tablet. That's radio. Cell. Yes, the way it should be heard. Stay right there. We're getting ready to take a break. And right after that, we're coming back because I got some more questions for Joan. But right now, the thing that hit my mind is, how much did you pray when you were in the South?
Oh, my God. My grandmother, great-grandmother, was Ethiopian Jew, and so we actually couldn't practice Judaism. The slaves weren't allowed to do that, but we prayed 3 times a day. Three times a day, yes.
She was an Ethiopian Jew?
Yes.
You know, Marilyn Hickey has discovered a whole band of Jews over in Africa somewhere, and they're Jewish. They're the authentic black Jews, you know, and they were starving to death and need medical help. And she has reached out to these foreign nations, and I saw her bringing these Jews, these Ethiopian Jews, into another nation. I don't know where they were coming into, but they were so sick and they needed so much help. And she has raised thousands, maybe millions in her ministry, and she's helping these people. I look at the power of God. You can't stop him.
No, you can't.
If you have a need, he'll do what?
He will supply it abundantly, abundantly.
And he works, you know, very quietly, very still, because he's helping people, he's restoring people, he's healing people, he's delivering people all over the world, and we don't hear that much about it, but every now and then a story breaks through and you say, oh my God, what a wonderful thing to do. Marilyn Hickey, that little bitty lady that speaks so softly, is touching and pouring in to thousands and thousands of Jews and Ethiopians and people who have been afflicted, who have been victimized, starved to death, but they're still holding on. And when you see them come into the country and they reach out for water and food, it lets you know you need to do something. Am I right, Joan?
Absolutely. You have to do something.
How much power do you get out of helping others?
Oh, I just can't tell you. I feel that I was put here on earth to help people, and we all were.
Yeah.
And so every day I ask God to let me help someone. That is my mission on earth, to help someone every day of my life. And when I lay down and go to sleep and felt that I helped to make someone's life better, hopefully, I sleep a lot better, and I thank God for the opportunity.
That's the reason why I brought that out, because I know you are helping a lot of people. You're helping a lot of people heal. You're helping a lot of people understand. You're even helping people to feel, because there's so much passion in your voice. And it's so wonderful to bring a woman on you, like you, into the environment and let them have a voice to speak to those that will hear, because inspiration is the beginning of change. If you can get an inspiration, something that will lift you and make you feel like I can be better, I can do more. You know, you may be laying on the street as a homeless person, but in the meantime, if you can hear the right word, you will get up and be encouraged and find a better way. And I love it. I've just realized today that there's a lot of people that are homeless, that look homeless. They're not homeless.
Absolutely.
They have just come out of homeless shelters so that they could keep their money.
Absolutely.
And they would like to have the freedom to spend their money on what they want to spend it on.
That's true.
And they're homeless because they have a choice. Many of them have a choice. They live on the street, so they don't have to pay a homeless shelter. talktainmentradio.com. We go where you go. Check us out on 94.1 WGRN. Podcasts are available. Download talktainmentradio.com apps to your cell or tablet. That's radio, the way it should be heard. Stay right there. This is Dr. K. Robinson on the Voice of Deliverance, and we're raising our children. Yes, we are. Coming up next on talktainmentradio.com. I'll be back in a minute.
And the congregation at Mount Gerizim Missionary Baptist Church cordially invite you to worship with us. Yes, come to the Mountain of Blessings for a spirited, love-filled experience. Our Sunday services and twice on Wednesday Bible study will change your life. We are located at 2633 Mock Road, and our phone number is 614-475-9712. Again, 2633 Mock Road, or call 614-475-9712.
Earn a certification in healthcare, business, or manufacturing while achieving your high school diploma at Life Skills High School, a free public option for Ohio students 16 to 21 years old. Visit their website today at lifeskillshs.org or call them at 1-800-888-7992.
Stand by for an important announcement.
Mortgage interest rates are the lowest in history. Did you hear that? Mortgage interest rates are the lowest in history. You can buy a home from Lenco Realty for less than rent. For details, call 614-375-2BUY. That's 614-375-2289 or log on to repohomelist.com. That's repohomelist.com and claim your American dream.
Queen's Legacy of Love 12 brand launch and grand opening. Currently looking for hosts, photographers, models, dancers, entertainers, ushers, comedians, production managers, model coordinators, stage crew, vendors, volunteers, sponsors, public relations and media personnel, and extras. Contact ggoldqqueen22@yahoo.com. Queens of Queens.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Kickin online.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Kickin products are better than those other guys. Ash Kickin candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer are priced just right, and you can get yours at 10% off with coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Shop Ash Kickin online at www.ashkickin.com.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of a Cutter Brother Rest Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians. It's time for us to unite as one. We can serve our communities better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obbn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
If you or a woman you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and you want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue. Office hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information, call 614-253-4448.
Every year, June marks the beginning of two busy seasons, summer and wedding season. If you are legally changing your name, you need to apply for a replacement Social Security card reflecting your new name. This is easier to fix now when you first change your name than years from now when you retire. So go to our website at www.socialsecurity.gov/SS number or call us at 1-800-772-1213, TTY 1-800-325-0778 to find out what specific documents you need to change your name and apply for a replacement card.
Think fast. In less than 30 seconds, a small flame can become a big fire. Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and keep heaters 3 feet away from anything that can burn. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
Families affected by disasters urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those affected by disasters, big and small. Donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
These are the sounds of someone taking their eyes off the road. Texting while driving is more than distracting. It's dangerous. Do yourself a favor. Do us all a favor. When you're on the road, stay off the phone. A message from CTIA, America's Wireless Companies, and the National Safety Council.
My name is Tom Thornton.
And my name is Cindy Thornton. We've been married 38 years. We're retired, and this is how we live united.
We play golf and we travel, but we also decided we were going to give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
I do the nursing at the clinic.
I work the front office, checking in patients, greeting them, making them feel comfortable.
United Way is how we contribute, because we know our time and money are going to the right places, the places that need it most and implement it best.
Judging by the thank yous we get at the clinic, I'd say we're doing the right thing with our retirement too.
We even get a few bless yous. It's incredible.
We're Tom and Cindy Thornton. We volunteer at our community free health clinic, so we don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on talktainmentradio.com.
You got the power.
talktainmentradio.com. We go where you go. Download talktainmentradio.com to your app and to your cell or tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. Yes, this is Dr. K. Robinson, and your show is The Voice of Deliverance. I want to reintroduce my guest for today, Miss Joan Robinson. No, we're not sisters. We're not related, I don't think. You never know. But in the meantime, we haven't done a blood test, but I don't think we belong to the same family. And I was born in the north. She's born in the south. But we're getting together today for you to talk about raising our children. First half, I wanted you to know her. Now we're getting ready to hit this subject real hard because our children are definitely at risk today. I have said that equal rights have done us more harm than good because we had equal chance to get jobs, but we left our children with babysitters. We left them at home, or we left them alone. And our children are portraying this type of character now, where you can't tell me anything. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I want Miss Joan to describe and go into the attitude of a child of today in comparison to what it was back then when she was coming up.
Whenever I was coming up as a child in the Carolinas, and particularly, no, we were taught to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, to all our adults. And especially to Europeans, we were always taught to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. And we are always taught to speak in a very kind voice.
Right.
And these days, the children speak so rudely. And I often tell them in school, I said, no matter how smart you are, if you are speaking rudely to a person, you will not succeed because you have to speak in a very polite and pleasing manner to your superiors. And so consequently, a lot of times, even to each other, they speak badly. I say, even to your peers, you must speak in a kind voice. It doesn't hurt to be nice. You must say nice things to each other. A lot of times our children are saying the worst things to each other. And I said, please, I went over that just today. Please say positive things. You're going to feel better if you say positive things, and definitely your peers are going to feel better. So we are constantly bombarded with this negative talk and impoliteness and disrespect for adults and people who are in charge. So to speak, as your teachers, your mother, I'm sure if they speak like that to their teachers or other adults they encounter, they're not speaking nicely to their parents. So this is a problem that I see we must address, and we must let our children know they must be polite and respectful to adults and people in charge.
All right, then. I do believe that the way you talk to people opens up the doors for you to go forward. I know that I have seen people interviewing people for jobs, and I could tell the way the next person would approach the person that was really interviewing. And I could tell how they would discern how they approached them before they even said a word. It's very, very powerful in your actions. You don't always have to say anything. Your attitude, and I say an attitude is really the relationship of a relationship with positive or negative. If your relationship is strongly engaged in negative thinking, that's what your attitude is going to be, without opening your mouth. Or if you think positive and hopeful, that's what your attitude is going to be. Now, we know that these children nowadays are frightening us with their attitude. They're frightening with us with not being able to talk as clearly and directly as they need to express themselves. It almost seems like many times they have given up. And I'm going to ask you this question. Why do some children seem not to talk and act respectfully toward their peers and adults, especially people in authority? Why did they do that?
I think, Kay, they do it because they hear people around them doing that, and they're emulating what they see and hear in the home, and they're allowed to do. And because as I was growing up, I was never allowed to do that. And another thing about the negativity, one thing that people need to get back to is embracing some type of religious discipline.
Ooh.
And because this religious discipline will help you to get yourself in a more positive mood, because it will make you hopeful. And that type of discipline will help you to come to school or everywhere you're going on a more positive, with a more positive attitude. And I'm telling you, we need to get back to some type of meditation, reading the Bible if that's what you're doing, or either you have to have some kind of religious discipline. And we have moved away from that.
So we have to go to a higher power to gain and to understand respect? Huh? Do we really have to do that? I do believe that we do. I believe that we have to have a higher power or someone in greater authority to kind of be able to humble ourselves under, to find the way that we should walk in the midst of each other. But of course, that's my opinion. Now, that's the way I was raised, and it made a lot of difference. I got the job. I got the record contract. And then after things didn't work out, I still became friends with the people that I traveled with and sung with, because we could bond in a real relationship because I was positive, gave them a chance to be positive, and we came together as friends. And I know we're very, very lonely when we don't have friends, when we don't have family. And to start that and to strengthen it is to look at how we treat one another. Nobody wants to be around us when we're angry, when we're fussing, when we always got a negative remark or response when somebody asks us a question, okay? So we've got to teach our children the power and the purpose of being positive, of watching what you say and how you say it, because whichever way you affect people, that's the way they're going to treat you. And basically, they're going to leave you alone. You're not going to get the job. You're not going to get the what do you call it when you go to college? You're not going to get that. You're not going to get the record contract, the record deal. You're not going to do it because your attitude has already shut the door in your face. And I do believe that our children need to talk like this. Joan, you have already in an agency that have asked me to be in that agency, and you're already there, mentoring mothers with small children.
Yes, I am mentoring a young lady, and I'm finding it very interesting. But she has 12 children.
Ooh.
Yes, and to many people that's challenging, but because I came from a large family, not my immediate family, but I had cousins, One uncle had 12 children. Another one had 16 children. So that does not bother me at all. And as I try to bring her around to know that the world is open to her, because she has 12 children, that means nothing. She can take those children and have them to go forward in life and be successful. But Kay, talking about positiveness, there are very often a group of people down where I'm from. They speak in such a love and sweet tone. We have lost that ability to speak in loving tones. There's a group of people, that's how they speak. They always have spoken that way, and that's an African tradition to speak very loving.
Yes.
And we have lost that ability, that cultural aspect of our tradition. Right. We have picked up a very rude way of speaking when that is not the African tradition. They can speak so sweet and kind. You just can't deny them anything. I know a lot of, they call them gullah. Some of the people are gullah, but I'm telling you, they have the most loving, sweet, kind voices you ever heard. Sang-songy, but darling and loving. I just love to hear them talk and speak. And we must somehow recapture that ability and that original tradition of ours to speak very loving and kind to each other.
I think we're making progress. I've seen a little progress. People begin to wake up and realize that they're going to have to change the atmosphere by the way they present themselves one to the other. I really feel people are stretching, trying to find a way to do it where they can seem natural and comfortable in a new personality. But if you don't feed the people, they don't have anything to eat. And we need examples. We need mentors, and parents are powerful mentors to the immediate family. They already got a group following and watching them as their own children. And I watch my children, and I see myself in my children, and I laugh, and it's fun, and sometimes it's endearing because I see my sons quiet down and talk to their sons in a very quiet way. And I said, that's their mommy coming out. Makes you feel good. We need things to be proud of.
And I think, Kay, you do an excellent job. You're such a wonderful woman of God, and you just have triumphed over so many things. And I just love you for your energy and for your willingness not to give up, to fight, and when it seems so difficult. So I mean, enough cannot be said about you. And I thank you so much. I'm grateful to have known you.
This is awesome. I didn't expect that. That was a blessing. I want you to tell your friends and everybody to watch the live broadcast of the Voice of Deliverance show. Go to your YouTube and type in the word talktainment. Then hit the space bar and type in the word radio. Scroll down to Talktainment 2 live on your YouTube, and you can also hear us live at talktainmentradio.com on your computer. I even do that, and I'm not computer savvy, but I'm learning because I got to do it. Please like us and subscribe and hear us live at talktainmentradio.com. Call in. It's not too late. 1-877-932-9766. We've got Joan Robinson up in here. I keep meeting these Robinson women. I'm wondering about my daddy. He was a good-looking man, and I'm beginning to think about this thing. Now, if they come up here looking like me, I said, uh-oh. There was a windy night in Georgia. But anyway, no, you in North Carolina. We're South Carolina. It's okay. So anyway, you have to think about those things. But you never know when the midnight hour comes. You never know what's going to happen. And miracles happens at midnight many times. Sometimes people change their attitude. Sometimes people change their mind. While they're laying in the bed and they can't sleep, they decided, I need to be a better person. Joan Robinson talk about her childhood. I remember my childhood. I wasn't like I am now, hard and cold and unforgiving. I remember we came up loving one another. That's why we're here, to encourage you. That sometimes you have to go back to the old landmark and just be a simple, down-to-earth, humble human being, okay? What are some possible career paths for the youth? We're going to leave this up now on 100%, and we're going to encourage these young people now. Yeah, you need to change. You need to change your attitude. You need to change the way you talk and treat to one another. But we also want you to think about what you're going to do with your future. And Joan knows these places here in Columbus. Where are some possible career places that we can go, get an education, and come out being who God made us to be? I want asking you that question right now.
Okay. Very often, young people want to go to college right away. But you know what? I think of in the Bible, Paul. Paul was first a tent maker, and then he decided he wanted to be a rabbi. And in the process of becoming a rabbi, he became an attorney and a teacher. Okay, but first he was a tent maker. That was his family's occupation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we may not have family occupations as such, but many of us do. Our fathers and mothers do things that we think we can fit in. But I know one thing that I have encouraged a lot of young people to do is go to vocational school, which they can do while they're still in high school, and learn how to cut hair. That's free. And you can go out and start your own business, and still, if you want to go to college, go ahead, go to college. You could even cut hair in college. So this gives you an additional manner of making money legally and without any right, without anything attached to it. So, and the women, they can go ahead and become beauticians. That's free. You can become a nail tech. At Fort Hays, they offer that. And you can become a cook. And one lady was telling me her son was becoming a cook. The starting income for him was $50,000 a year. Woo! Now, I don't know where he was becoming a cook at or what was the process, but you can learn that also at Fort Hays, and it's absolutely free. Now, if you want to go ahead and go to college, I'm telling you, making $50,000 a year will pay for your college education, and you will not have any bills hanging around if you just work part-time, I believe. So these are means, and I'm sure there are many, many other career paths you can follow, but those three are three things that almost all of us wouldn't mind doing at one time or another, and it will make you a very good income. So these are some things you can do. And also, even if you want to go to college, a lot of the colleges now offer courses, AP courses, in which you can take while you are in college, while you're in high school. And when you graduate from high school, you will be a junior in college, and that sure will save you a lot of money. So those of you who want to go to college, make sure you maintain a good average while you're in high school, and ask your counselor for those AP, those advanced placement courses, so that you can take them and you can graduate maybe a junior, and you can at least only have 2 more years to go, and that's all you have to pay for. Plus, try to pick up some of these other, like doing nails, become a nail tech, become a beautician, cut hair, and men and women are cutting hair. It's not for males only these days. So I'll be a beautician. All these are unisexual jobs. So I'll become a cook. So these are some alternative career paths you can take as you go forward toward your college degree. You don't want to get all bogged down in all this debt and you come out and you don't have your degree, you can't find a job. But these things are constantly in demand. Having your hair cut, eating food, and so on. These are things that people are constantly going to need. And Fort Hays and some of the vocational schools still offer these. Ask your counselors. Where can you go to get these skills before you graduate? Because they are available. So young people, try to find a job, a skill, a training, and a skill that's very marketable, and that you can go out and set up your own business or moonlight, or kind of do it at your house, whatever, so that you can make some extra money without depending on actually putting in an application and so on, and waiting for someone to call you. All right, those are some of the things that I know exist.
Now, the main thing I hear through everything she's saying is you got to work. And you've got to like working. You like getting up, getting something done, making your own money, staying out of trouble. You've got to make up your mind you want to work. There's a lot of people don't move because they've made up in their mind, I don't want to work. So they'll do anything to make money without working. But there's got to be a desire within you. And I have to tell myself now, get up, and get busy. You got a lot to do. I feel like I ought to retire, kick back, rest, you know. But no, there's too much to do. I don't always feel like moving, but I get up and make myself move anyway because I've got things that I need to do. And a lot of them are for you. So therefore, I push myself, and once I get into it, then I feel real good about it. When I go to bed at night, I say, thank you, Lord. I thank you for the opportunity to get so much done, to have so many gifts to share with people. It's a blessing. But nobody really wants to move. This body doesn't like to move. But you have to talk to yourself and say, you will work. You need to work, and you're going to work. Hello, somebody. Be your own parent and correct and discipline. You know, when we go into prison systems, I notice that they start out teaching you how to obey. The things that your parents taught you that you refuse to do, or the things that they taught you that you forgot about. When you go to prison, they put that back in you. You got to walk the way they want you to walk where they want you to walk, talk when they want you to talk. That's what your parents was trying to teach you, and you refused to learn. So if you didn't learn it first, guess what? You get the class again. And I thought about that. I said, working is what we need to do. There's many doors here in Columbus, especially being the state capital. There's money funded in here for a whole lot of programs. You don't have to go hungry. You don't have to go without medicine, but you got to get out and do your part. You got to put your energy into it, and I guarantee you'll get something back. I also want to say this about young people. There are a lot of young people, young women and men, who are gifted. They have their own businesses. I go to I support their fashion shows and their hair shows and all of that thing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, honey, I want to be sure before we get out of here to commend the ones that have achieved and are going forward. You make us proud. Joan, we want you to know we appreciate you being here today. You gave a wealth of information. And it is wonderful to know you. We've got a future because we're going to be doing more shows together. I'm looking forward to going on Bounce with this lady. We want to go on some more TV. We're all over the TV. But in the meantime, we want her to close us out with what God has put on her heart about our youth of today.
Well, today, our youth, thank you, Kay, so very much. Our youth is our future. And it's very, very important that we love them and spend a lot of time with them and just pray that they get the discipline that they need. They are the future. We have to train them properly to carry the torch on. So properly, we have to, the Staples song, God Bless the Children, we have to bless our children and ask God to bless our children every day and every minute practically.
talktainmentradio.com, the world's greatest radio. Yes, we're on here today. We're talking to you about our future. We're talking about our children. We love them. We want them to do well. We're praying for them, but we need help. Parents, get yourself together and realize if you don't put nothing in them, you ain't going to get nothing out. So don't complain and don't cry and carry on because your children aren't acting right, because they are your future, your responsibility, and they are copying you. They see you every day. So therefore, be sure that you put on a good show, a performance for them, and be the men and women that God has called you to be. Grow up, take your responsibility, and make your children proud of you, and you eventually will be proud of them. We love you today, and I want you to know this is Dr. K. Robinson on the Voice of Deliverance, loving you, loving Joan Robinson for her wonderful comments in this, and we want you to continue to, and please call me the next time I'm on the air. I know you listening. Don't you try.